There is a shaft that leads all the way through the earth like this, a pit. If you go in it at one side or go in it the other side, gravity takes you to the heart of it. And in the heart of it, the middle of the earth, is a place called hell, outer darkness. When Lazarus died, he didn't go into this hell. He went into a place called paradise. It was a air-conditioned paradise down in this bottomless pit. Now on the other side of it, the other side of this paradise, was a place where the rich man was. He was not yet in the lake of fire, but he was in a place of torment on this other side. And here was this gulf separating them, so that those on the paradise side could not cross over, and those on the hell side could not cross over to paradise. No one is in the lake of fire yet. So here was Abraham's bosom. The rich man died, was buried, and hell lifted up his eyes. He saw Lazarus afar off in Abraham's bosom, and they communicated back and forth. All right, here is 1 Peter 4:5. Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead, the living and the dead? For this cause was the gospel preached to them that are dead. So Adam is here, Abel is here, Enoch, Methuselah, Noah, possibly his sons, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, David, Solomon, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, all those characters in the Old Testament, plus many, many more, were here in paradise at that time. They couldn't go to heaven because their sins hadn't been paid for. But God was favorably disposed to them because they had believed God. So God had a high regard for them in their believing state. But no payment had been made for their sin. It said it was not possible the blood of bulls and goats could take away their sin. So in effect, they were saved on credit. They were saved by God in anticipation of a time when their sins would be paid for. Jesus, when he died, went and preached to the dead. Here's where they were. In Ephesians chapter 4, 8 through 10. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, this is after Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, he ascended up to heaven. He ascended up on high, he led captivity captive. So there were some people held captive here. He took them out. He captured those who were captured and led them out to heaven. He took captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. And he also distributed gifts to these saints of the Old Testament at that time. Now he that ascended into heaven is he also that descended first into the lower parts of the earth. You can't be any clearer than that. The same Jesus that ascended into heaven is the Jesus who descended first before he ascended into heaven. Now that would have to be between his death and resurrection and his ascension into heaven. That was the time period in which this took place. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept, that's the word for dead Christians, arose and came out of the grave after his resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Matthew 27. So when Jesus went into the grave, on the third day when he came out, bodies of the saints which were previously dead appeared in the city of Jerusalem unto many people. That means some old lady sitting there grinding her corn, and the man walks up to her and says, how you doing there? She says, fine. Who are you? He says, I'm Isaiah. Been a long time since I've been here, about 700 years. And what are you doing here, Isaiah? Well, I'm just waiting. We're going to be going on up to heaven. Just made a stop. So many of the saints got to see those Old Testament saints at that time. Now, those are the ones he preached to. He didn't preach the gospel to lost people, giving them a chance to get saved. Jesus preached the gospel to those in paradise who were already in a state of grace and favor with God, so that they too could believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, which they all did.